Hey guys, and we are back. We are back, I tell you. So, I beginning to see it's kind of annotated. Not annotated, I didn't have a mic with me, so I couldn't really go over it. But we had a pretty good turn airwise. Just kind of what did I do? Oh, we started right here and we actually landed air troops here, got folks across. So we didn't run into any resistance, so that was interesting. But we're prepping for our turn. You know, we're at 46 for this turn. This guy's at 51. They're at 28, so they'll take a couple more turns to get to 30. And then they've got special service units, and I think he knows we're going to Rome, so he's moved guys up here. And you know, whatever. If he wins again, I'll just probably call the game and start fresh. Or maybe I won't. Who knows? It depends on the mood of his mood. I'm super frustrated that they have the extra morale. It makes me real fucking angry. But I've said that before, so I'm trying not to beat a dead horse because she dead. She dead, girl. She dead. Okay, let's go through the factory and everything. Let's see. Let's go to these factories. Okay. Manpower's taking a hit. We're down to 221. We just got hexes just before the February cutoff. So we just by the skin of our teeth made that deadline before we would have lost 400 more points. Then I really would have called it and been like, peace out, I'm dead. I was done, son. Because we just barely got how many hexes we have over here now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. We have 20 hexes. So that will, and we're going to do an air landing here. I expected him to be blocking here, but I guess he's not. So maybe I'll reset the targeting to be like right here. Kind of do one behind him. That might work. If he tries to block me up there, you know. Has to be 8 hexes from the front. So if we say he blocks us right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we just have to get 2 hexes, and we'll put a blocker. We'll put a guy right here. There. So 2 more turns, and we'll have enough. Depending on what he wants to do, you know. We're gonna want to expand that airport. Yes, please. We want airports everywhere, not an airport to drink. Oh, I haven't captured that one yet. Okay. We want to expand that to level 3 airport. Yes, we do. We already have a depot there, right? Yeah, we do. Okay, perfect. Can't create a depot there yet. And while we're in here, let's go ahead and try to close out some old air bases. I mean, there's air bases here, but we don't really, what did we get? So their TOA is set to, auto. So there's no infantry here. So that's cool. I guess it's not a really big deal. They actually did a nice job with this. Like did we get any supply? No supply. So yeah, it's not really wasting anything. If they're all at 0 down here, then that's cool with me. Why did it get... Oh, I guess it got supply because it was like a level 4. Let's see if we can set up any of these air bases to be a little bit different. To find the ones in Africa and kind of just turn them off. And say, you guys are dead to us. You're dead to us, Jimmy. You're dead to us. You are dead to us. Nationality. Let's see if we can find any that actually have... Oh, this one is supply 4th. Where's this one at? Yeah, so we're going to want to give you some supply. You're going to want some supply, son. You're going to want some supply. You're going to be bombing there for a while, so. Court. You're going to be bombing there for a while too, so we're going to set you this. Oh, did you just hit like level 1? Is that why these are 0? Oh, they probably should because it's just level 1. Okay. Dover. Oh, and you're level 1 too. You're a brand new airbase. You're like a baby airbase. you're going to be there for a while, so we're going to set yours at 3. So newer bases start out as 4. Good to know. Good to know. Which reminds us, let's go check out our air bases. That's a 3. That's a 3. Look, which one's going to update the 3s? That's still 2. Still 2. Just made a 3. Just made 2. Just made 2. That one just made 1. Make it 2. And why is this one oversubscribed? What's here? Oh, 24 4 engines? Yeah. Let's move you to the brand new. Yeah, we'll keep it there. We'll just build it up. Let's work its way up anyway. Level 3. 2. This one can be level 2 now. This one will be level 2 soon. This one's working towards level 3. Nice. And support our invasion over here too. Ooh, Polish Core 2 arrived. Oh, I guess. I suspect you're going to go with the Polish Core 2. That's what I'm guessing. I'm just going to move it out here. It's a 2DK. Move coastal up here where they're more effectively with their peeps. Oh, I hit Y again. I was like, why did the name show up? I was like, I'm missing something. Go, yes. I need to hit the other one. Okay. Where's the fuel? Stop showing fuel on this supply. Are all ports depots? Looks like all ports are depots. Okay. Port 1. Port 1. The port 1s don't need to have. It's going to fill port 1. Port 1. You need to connect to the rail network, so you're toast. You can be a 4. You can be 4. You can be 4. And you can be 4. Actually, these guys can all be 3s now. Well, actually, I want you to stay. Before you launch invasions, you stay 4s. So that's just the way it's going to be. And what size port is this? Port, size 2 port. Yeah, it's going to be a sucky one. Yeah, I'm going to need more. Yeah, that's going to be. Yeah, that's going to be sucky. Who's priority 4? Let's get that dip fixed. The rail yard fixed. Because we're going to need that capacity pretty darn soon. What I will do, since it's a depot, is I will fly some freight over to Reggio Calogero just to get as much as I can out of the city. And, wow, 1,000 tons dropped in, 700 tons dropped in, 700 tons or so, 540 tons, 244 tons. 34 tons. I think that's the last one, probably. So what do we got in here now? Store, we have 347 now. 3,400 now, so that's good. Got 6,000 here. It's not a ton, but it's better than nothing. It's better than the blow to the head, that's what I would say. Okay, let's get back to it. Oh, that's right. Poke arrived, huh? 430 arrived. Cavalry groups, there's automatically elite. You're gonna be there. You're just gonna be, Third Army. I'm gonna convert you to a tank. Tanks beget tanks, baby. 4th ID though. Who's got the best infantry rating? 6, 7. McLaughlin, 6, nice. Tony McLaughlin, I like it. So you're going to go over here to fight for Ridgeway and the 7 US Corps, 7 Corps. So are there any things over here? Just making sure he's not scanning me at all. Doesn't look like he is either, so. And let's check out he's trying to keep some heat here to make it costly for him, he realizes. So you can kind of see where his missions are. Let's see, there. Let's do some there. Let's check out. We've done a pretty good job of knocking out manpower here. Rail yards here. Rail yards here. Gotta get that rail yard. I don't think we're actually bombing that one yet. These ports. Gotta get Le Havre. That's the port we're gonna want to knock out to make the landing here easier. So more landings, second Peeling Brigade. I'm just going to convert you into an old unit there. Cavalry group. Oh, you're already in there. Cool, cool. You kind of I already put you in there, Doug. Take the times, blah, 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 blah. Okay, you got a lot of support units already. Perfect. Oh, you have a lot of support units already. You do not. First floor, let me make sure. Make sure my armor unit has plenty of support. Oh, I give him the third army. Like, where's all that shit? I was like, okay, they're here. The third army. Does first army have a ton of stuff? They do. Perfect. Like, let's see where some of these are. What are these engineers are able to shave? Okay. So that shows the HQ there. Cool. Okay, some of these went right into where they should be going. Awesome. But I actually need some shizzle. Field artillery. Ranger battalion. You're not going to be landing, so I don't want to give it to you yet. I'll keep it here, though. Give some AA. Self-repelled. Give me plenty of AA. 4. Make sure you guys are prepared. So we've banged those up. Banged these up here. We're working. I mean, it's not a great job, but it could be worse, right? I mean, but good for bombing. We did. He's over garrisoned something, so we missed a little of those. So we're not terribly off. We have a little ways to go. Okay, so let's see. I'm missing this. And this took me a while because I was trying to find, before I was looking at my air power, I had a lot of air power out shortage, and I had things that were that were going from Liberator GR6. I was like, shit, how do I find those? So I had to track it down to like, okay, the Liberator BIV. I was like, okay, well, where did that come from? It came from Commonwealth to Britain. I was like, okay, it goes from America to the Commonwealth is this, and it gets converted. It's like, it's cool, but it's it would be nice if you could click on one and just trace the whole lineage of the unit back. And I think we're good to go. I think we are. Like, this guy's 8th ID. He'll be available to come over. We're going to be launching invasion, so another turn we'll have that one. 2 more turns we'll have this one. These guys are a couple turns away. Take 2 more turns, we get our what looks like. Take it. Let's see, it's worth mentioning. So we get to. I finally got my task force specs. My task force is back soon. Because it looks like this is one of the ones, the British one. Comes back down here. That comes back in 3 turns. Those are for American invasion. Those are 5 turns. Do those back. Depends. We can't go shoestring. We got to come hard, so it's going to be a while. We might. Maybe just. Yeah, let's just get this guy and have him send these guys over and have them fight up the boot for a while, because they're going to be a while. So we need all hands on deck. And all the big ports. Actually, this port's not closed up and it's kind of big. Transport snack. Yes. They have an introduction there. Not a lot of introduction there, but the 2 common units in there. Yeah, so we'll deal with you tomorrow, next turn. Same with you guys. You guys can. Let's see if you can get off this thing. A little bit too big to see. 140 required armor. Damn it. Dang it. Let's get some anti-aircraft attached to the city. Oh, I can't because it's on the other side street. Let's get some nice attached to Messina. Let's see, because this. These units are actually pretty good with the units. But the units are pretty good with that one. It's like kind of like meh, not so much. I just don't put it past them to try to bomb this to kind of cut off my to bone my supply going in into there. You know, gun battalion. Oh, that's a gun battalion. Let's see the difference. That's the TV. 600 dudes, a couple of anti-aircraft machine guns and some heavy flak, 16 heavy flak, compared to 300 dudes, 16 heavy flak. So it's not much. That one is actually better. The anti-aircraft battalion is actually better. It's just a vital link. I don't want to lose it anymore. Thoughts. I always do this. I know you guys love it though. Hush. Hush. The regiment's bigger than the battalion. Just want to check the sizing. I always get battalions and regiments confused, and I like making sure I got it right. That's all. And while we're processing, I'll read the others. Appendices. Yeah, regiments. No, brigades. Battalion, regiment, brigade. Okay, so I had it right. Regiment's bigger than battalion. It's just gonna be. It's such a premier port, and I don't want my supply to mess with. That's heavy. I don't have any low level. Like what would I put in here for low level? Like, that doesn't make sense. Whatever, it's 9 now. See, what's the biggest port on the island? 5, 1. I'm sorry, I said it's Palermo. I wouldn't have had to go for Palermo. Let's A that up too. Does that provide any? Obviously not any. I have units there that provide some, but does it provide any intrinsic value? Because I wouldn't put it past him to run some stuff in it because he's a turkey. That was a good jump. 6, 8. Yeah, be too careful. That's all. He's going to try. I mean, he's just that Just that steady. Let me make sure my coast is. Our guys are going to be departing from 6, 5. We need some air there. Any other things? What about you need some anti-aircraft there? At least a 2. Like you can't just be 5, 2. Well, that's definitely gonna be one right there. Southampton. Because when he comes in, when he will to recon the area, I want him to suffer consequences and casualties. 6, that's another port that's going to need some stuff. It's worth it. Two. Oh, Chatham. I should load up some folks in Chatham. Actually, I've got the in London. One's the 5. Let's see it real quick. Okay, let's see. Goodness there. This should be an embarkation point 2. Airport. What is this? Is this going to turn into? Here's what's TV says. When is it going to turn into? Doesn't look like it is. This one either. What is this? Okay, yeah, so there's no TV upgrade. Okay, weird. They all 17,000, now we lost 33,000. Where did we lose 33,000 men from? Vehicles? Where did I lose 33,000 men from? Oh, because it's winter? Is it because it's winter? Oh. I forgot they need to be in cities. Oops. I think that's what it is. Okay. Let's say this is our intern. text R, let me know it's coming. And then let's go ahead and read while this processes. Let's go ahead and read the. What did I read you before? Did I read you the exit strategy? I think I did. So let's read the allied strategy. Since I promised you I would. Allied strategy. The allied player has many advantages: plentiful equipment, pools, adequate replacements, and an overwhelming air force. Many allied units, though, do not have high morale, perhaps not even as good as many of the German units they confront. Some players will be tempted to use these plentiful resources, and adopt a Russian-style battering strategy, but be warned the Allies can zero out the replacement pool with this strategy. I can. A more winning strategy is using command of the air and sea to hit the Axis where and when they want. Consider using airborne troops, hopefully more successfully than historically. I haven't so far. In market garden-style operations, the foundation of any Allied strategy, though, is air power. Veteran War in the East players will find a completely revamped air game in War in the West. That is very true. The biggest difference is in interdiction. Though through mastery of interdiction air missions, the Allied player can dominate the battlefield. Interdiction in War in the West is by hex, not by unit. The Allied player defines the range of hexes, or even a single hex, to apply interdiction to. If the selected area is small enough, every hex in the selected range may be targeted, whether an enemy interceptor is permitting. Casualties and disruption efforts are not immediate, but come into play when Axis units either move or retreat through interdicted hexes, or defend in an interdicted hex. Prior to invasions, the bulk of the Air Force should be committed to interdiction of the invasion zone. At least 5 hexes should be committed to the interdiction of the invasion zone, at least 5 hexes to the rear. This prevents reinforcements from quickly moving to the invasion area and punishes them as they do, as the Allies did historically to the reserve panzer formations rushing to Normandy after D-Day. Ground support missions are helpful, but achieving high interdiction levels, 7 to 9 in a hex, are the key to winning ground attacks. Unit bombing is not generally effective unless a large stack of non-entrenched units are caught in the open. Gotta remember that. Make use of the plentiful American support units to fill out 3 support slots available for every American division, which I will once I get on the ground. Each division should have an armor, engineer, and 1 other player's choosing. The Allies are so rich in artillery support so the American and British Corps HQs can be assigned a generous allotment. The Allies will need to decide whether to group their armored brigades and divisions into armored corps, or even armies like the Germans did historically, or follow the Allies' doctrine of dispersing armor across the entire front. I'm going to be more German. A hybrid strategy likely tempting to many players will be to make Patton's Third Army into a tank-heavy battering ram. Hey, I already did that. Plan invasions with care, which I didn't do, as failure means many months of delay and probable loss of the game if the main invasion of France collapses. Heavily bomb the railnet several weeks prior to the region you intend to invade, and perhaps some other areas too to throw the Axis off. The turn of the invasion, Allied heavy and medium bombers and every plane available needs to focus on interdiction missions to create a killing field in the invasion zone. Again, the interdiction should extend at least 5 hexes to the rear of the invasion breaches. The application of this interdiction doctrine will allow you to be aggressive in expanding your bridgehead in the crucial first 2 turns after the invasion. Do not forget to park plenty of units immediately behind your invasion force to come ashore on turns 2 and 3. Once engaged fully in both France and the Mediterranean, the Allied player may feel he lacks units to maintain a long front and simultaneously master offensive operations. In some respects, this is true. The Axis forces are well supplied with entry divisions, supporting armor reserves, and can match the Allies unit for unit from the North Sea to the Mediterranean. Don't despair. With Allied air superiority, great odds are not needed to drive the Axis back or punch holes in the lines. Focus your air power on one area at a time rather than dispersing it across the entire front. The Allied player will need to develop a strategic bombing doctrine. Hitting everything at the top all the time will deplete your air force and will limit damage to the Axis war machine. Rest the air fleet periodically, especially during bad weather. The consistent targeting of specific industries such as fuel, aircraft, or tank production can produce notable results, which they have. Hitting all industries equally will not produce the desired result, as there are simply too many targets for that strategy to work. If you're losing too many bombers to German fighters, consider increasing the fighter escort squadrons and adjust escort percentages upwards on the air doctrine screen. The Allies have no worries when it comes to supply quantities. Rather, the issue is having supply where and when it's needed to feed the voracious fuel and ammo appetite of the Allied units. The Axis will undoubtedly try to deny Allied invasion forces access to the ports, so their capture is a priority. Don't ignore the importance of logistics in War in the West, as unit effectiveness can degrade quickly when supplies dwindle. Remember, you can create 2 Mulberry harbors to increase your supply throughout the beaches. It is vitally important that the advancing Allies create numerous depots to keep troops supplied. Remember to adjust down the priorities of depots in rear areas like Sicily or North Africa once the troops and planes have moved on. In order to reduce shipping losses, return amphibious HQs to port for return when they are no longer required to keep open temporary ports. Once they return their transports, these units can move to sea to provide additional gunfire and carrier escort support for the invasion forces along the coast. The Allies should be able to conclude operations in Sicily around 5 weeks in the 43 campaign. I sucked at it. They should then, if feasible, cross over to the toe of Italy and consider invasion somewhere in southern Italy. Salerno or Taranto are two likely targets. If the invasions are launched quickly after the fall of Sicily, the Axis will not have the strength to contest the invasions for long. This should force Italy out of the war. If the Germans have not reinforced Sardinia or Corsica, some or all of these islands may convert to Allied control. If the Germans have control, a quick invasion will need to be planned. The Germans will not be there in strength, so 2 invasion points supported by paratroopers on each island should suffice. The Allies need these islands for the numerous airfields which can cover Italy and southern France, as well as provide staging areas for the 15th Air Force to bomb Austria and southern Germany. Once the Allies advance in Italy to the first German line somewhere south of Rome, a decision needs to be made. Should resources be allocated to punch through, or should the Allies be content to spend the winter in their foxholes? I spent it in Sicily. These excellent defensive terrain denies Allies easy success in a slog up the Italian peninsula, and advances are usually expensive. End-run sea invasions are possible, but beware of creating a small beachhead far from the main body of your force. The main armies must still breach an undoubtedly tough German defense to reach the landings, and they will be weakened by the detachment of forces for the sea invasion. France. Due to numerous constraints of logistics, let's see if the turn's done so I can send it to Ara just to get it out there. Axis. France. Due to constraints of logistics, shipping, and troop numbers, it is improbable that the Allies can invade before May of 1944. The decision where to invade must be made months before that amphibious HQs need to accumulate 50 preparation points. If an amphibious HQ has 2 divisions attached to it, preparations are slower. So the Allies should strip some of the amphibious HQs early from the Mediterranean theater and put in large English ports in order to accumulate sufficient prep points for both units stacked with them by the summer of 1944. Paratroopers need time to prepare. The main invasion of France should at least match in force of the Allies' historical 6 infantry and 3 airborne divisions. Choosing where to launch the main invasion in Northern Europe is the most significant strategic decision the Allied player will make in war in the West. Where to invade, though? The Pas-de-Calais area is an obvious choice. It's close to England, near Allied air bases, and will provide good ports. Unfortunately, it has too many ports. Ports are the most defensible coastal hexes in war in the West, and are capable of level 4 or 5 fortifications. As such, ports are nearly impossible to take from the sea if well defended. There are not more than 2 contiguous beach hexes without ports in the entire Pas-de-Calais area. Any invasion will be spread out with German port strong points interspersed in between them. This, combined with the reality that the region is undoubtedly the best defended portion of the Atlantic Wall, make a successful invasion here far from a sure thing. Le Havre is another possibility. The Seine River behind the coast provides an excellent defensive line, though by which the Germans can thwart an Allied breakout. There's a shortage of airfields which limits the Allies to the beach airfields until a breakout is achieved. Its proximity to the Pas-de-Calais means those forces are very near. Several infantry divisions can stroll the few miles west to contain the beachhead. Le Havre is a good choice only if reconnaissance indicates it is not heavily defended. Normandy is a nice wide coast, uninterrupted by potential port strong points. It is likely to have a smaller number of defenders than Pas-de-Calais or Le Havre. Cherbourg is a size 5 port that will probably be isolated from German reinforcements soon after the invasion. Its primary drawbacks as an invasion site are the extensive hedgerows behind the invasion zone. To counter this, the Allies might consider a larger airdrop than historical and sliding part of the invasion 1 or 2 hexes to the east of the Orne River. This bypasses much of the Bocage country and the natural defensive barrier of the Orne River. Brittany is far from the Rhine, but will be the least defended compared to other coastal zones, and Brest is a level 6 port. There is some good defensive terrain inland, but the Germans will likely have a hard time containing an invasion here, as it is likely far from the main body of reserves located farther to the east. Allied planes will be in range to cover any landings, but again, German forces levels here will likely be less need for overwhelming air power. Brittany makes sense if the Allied player feels he can make up for the distance from the Rhine by speedy, less impeded drive east. No matter what invasion zone you choose, a quick breakout is the key to penetrating east far enough to win the game. Do not hesitate to switch your bomber formations off strategic bombing to interdiction missions as needed. There's no strategic reason not to invade southern France as soon as possible after your main landing in northern France. The Germans will be hard-pressed to contain both invasions. An invasion of southern France also opens up the possibility of entering northern Italy from the west and avoiding a slog all the way through the Italian peninsula. Once the breakout occurs, keep the Germans off balance and harry them with interdiction missions so they will withdraw through a storm of fire. As the war progresses, it is unlikely that any German fighters will be seen over France or Italy. Consider switching your fighter bombers to the bomber role to increase interdiction and ground sortie numbers. There, that's that. There's turn 31, and talk to you later, guys. Later, alligator.